So no car work is getting done today. It's coming down pretty hard.
Previously on Battlestar Galactica.
Look, I have one job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it, okay?
I am convinced that every person who does do-it-yourself projects at home probably has a countertop or a table that looks like this. The countertop of death, filled with many, many different works in progress that are, well, works in progress. So today, we are continuing with the Jetta project, specifically my daughter's Jetta, Joan Jetta, the black Jetta. So we're going to do a few really kind of unnecessary, some of the things are necessary. A friend gave me some pedal covers off of a GTI or a GLI, and they look really cool, so I'm going to slap those on there. Nicer dead pedal, that's going to go on there. I do have an RCN 210 double DIN radio that's going to go in to replace the original factory single DIN cassette deck, and that will hopefully be something that allows me to move forward into the realm of using Bluetooth and wireless communication and a better sound system in general. I understand it sounds better, so hopefully it actually does. If not, then we'll have to move on to the speakers. But the system in my daughter's car is pretty awful, so we're gonna go ahead and swap out one factory system for another factory system. That should be better, theoretically. And there are other projects in that car that we need to get to, like the trunk wiring harness. That is worn out. It's a very common problem. We'll talk about that some other time when we come back to it. But there's a bunch of stuff that need to be done on that car. So we're going to get to just a few of the quick things today. Let's see what we get done. Hey everybody, it's Brendan, aka Cliff Jumper. Welcome back to the channel. And as you may have noticed, I have this giant pile of different things that are parts of ongoing projects. We have stuff for the supercharger project in the Corrado. We've got stuff for the Sequoia. We've got some more Corrado things. We've got some Jetta Mark IV things. We've got more Jetta Mark IV things spilling over on the floor. All this to say, there's a lot going on here. And there's Fiat stuff here too. I'm still working on getting that completely up to spec. Anyway, this would have been another Corrado video, except that I'm still waiting for the Recaro seats to come back from getting redone. What we were having done is the heater elements that did not come in them, but I managed to source, are getting installed so that I'll have fully functional heated leather interior in my Corrado with Recaro seats. And from then, the plan is to then continue with the motor mounts in the Corrado. I need a second pair of hands to do that, so I've been waiting for availability from either one of my children, who are wonderful helpers, or from one of my grease monkey buddies who would like to come out and help turn a wrench. So that will be happening hopefully this week. And then we will get the supercharger installed after the motor mounts are done. One thing that might delay the supercharger installation is, while I was working on it last time, I noticed a coolant leak. So that could be simply a loose clamp on a hose. It is likely the thermostat housing, based on where the leak was coming from. It's a plastic housing. It attaches to the block, and they go bad about every 7 or 8 years. It's just a thing. I did order one of the aluminum, cast aluminum housings. That's a replacement. It's a permanent thing. Once you replace it, you should not have to worry about it again ever, theoretically, because it should just keep its form and not go out of shape. But I ordered one of those from Groove and Parts. Thank you guys. And hopefully it'll be here soon. I was expecting it soon, but everything is delayed these days. So when it shows up, I will be able to deal with that just in case, because the last thing I'd like to do is start the car up, go for a romp down the freeway, and then have the engine melt down because all the coolant spilled out everywhere. So Corrado is on hold while we're waiting for more parts, and then we'll get right back to that. So you can see here, one of the things we needed to do today is replace this. This is one of the most stupidly common problems with a Mark IV Volkswagen, is the adjuster knob breaks off because for whatever reason, Volkswagen in their wisdom made this one piece molded rather than a knob that could just pop off if you bump it too hard. So the whole thing breaks and then it's useless. You can't do anything with it. So to replace this, of course, though, you have to replace, or not replace, but remove the whole panel. So this has all got to come off of here in order to replace this one deal. So we're going to do that. Moving right along, we've got these ugly pedals that we're going to be putting nicer looking pedal covers on. These are factory pieces. They go right on. That should go pretty quick. And then here we have the factory singled in cassette deck with the little cubby pocket thing above. So that is going to come out. We're going to put in a double DIN unit that has Bluetooth and USB and more modern features, and it's supposed to be very plug and play. So hopefully it turns out to be. Let's see. Since this one's actually a safety issue, we're going to deal with that one first. So to get the door panel off, if you haven't done it before, you separate this thing. It just pops out this way. That allows you to then pop this whole thing up and out of the way. And then you can access the screws that actually hold the panel in. There is a little screw up here in the corner that a lot of people miss that keeps it snug. So here is inside the door panel, and it's this deal. So I've got to unhook the little assembly right there, unscrew it, undo the connector here, and then it pops through out towards the front. So this connector first, we just squeeze it, it pops out of the way. This very fun hook, you got to push the little latch forward and then it pops off and slides back like so, and then that comes out of the way and we have to move that screw. And then the whole thing should be able to just push out. So these, oh yeah, these little things are holding it in place. Gotta lever them up and out of the way of the clips back here. There we go, now it's happy. And now it will come out the other side. Fantastic. So now we bring in our new one again from the other side there, slip it through here, put those little tabs back in place, screw back in place. So now we got to get this all lined back up nicely so that the lock comes through the hole. Are you too good for your home? Go to your home. There we go. And then should all go back into this nice channel here. And when it's in the channel, looking from the bottom, there are these plastic clips that are going to want to go into those holes and snap in place. And there are a few of them all lined up along here and along this side too. So just going through and snap, 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 and then putting the bolts back in to these recesses right here secures the bottom of the door. Then it moves on to these screws here, which go into those wonderful little holes and secure this part, and that's it as far as the structural. Then it pops back in, so we'll do all that. Again, these don't need to be Kung Fu Voodoo Monkey Death Grip tight, but they should be tight enough that they're not going to come loose on you. Snap that back. And the last piece is this deal. The dots go up toward you, and then it just squeezes back into place. Voila, we're done with that. And we have an extra bolt that we found that fell out of somewhere. This does not belong to the door, it belongs somewhere else. I think it's actually goes to the bumper, so hooray. I don't know why it's back here. Maybe it was in the door pocket. And of course, let's double check to make sure this thing actually works, because that's helpful. So, okay, we've got function, perfect. And I forgot to put this little screw in. On many of them, they get stripped out. I stick it back in just because it's incomplete without it, but mine doesn't actually tighten into anything anymore. There should be a plastic block in there that it secures into. Mine does not have it. There you go. All right, pedal. By the way, yes, this is all pretty gross. This is destined for a deep clean video, just like I did with the R32. So we will do that at some point. Also notice up here, there's some pretty gross stuff. Really, this whole headliner needs to be replaced, but since this car is for a teenager, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna clean it, and that's about as good as we're gonna go with that. But for right now, let's do some pedals and make that look better. So to get this dead pedal on here, there is a little Torx bolt right at the top that we're gonna need to remove. And I'm not sure if this is supposed to just, I think we remove the old one and stick this one in its place is how this works. So to remove that, I believe it is a matter of leveraging this piece of plastic up, and it slides up off of the clips. Yep, that appears to be what we're doing here. And then it slides out from the kick panel. There we go. This should be reverse. So it should be, yeah, I'll use this one. Use this lovely little tool, pull back the plastic, and get this back in there where it's gonna wanna live. Looks like the aluminum clipped out of the plastic. Yep, so that's fun. I'm gonna redo that. Oh, I see. So we've got a black back piece here that's gonna be in place. Got it. And then this. Aha. So, do need to slide that up and get this on here again. Okay, for anybody else dealing with this little rubber in between part, this is super fiddly. It just peels right off, comes out of the way, and then it's not lined up when you're trying to deal with getting it installed. So, be gentle. Take your time, make sure this hole lines up with all 3 pieces, and then we should be able to get that up into where it wants to be. There we go. Dead pedal, nice. These are almost identical. You'll notice that this one's got an extra piece on this side, and this has an extra piece on this side, and they match the respective pedals that they go onto. And so this is even more fiddly because you have to get the lip of this pedal up underneath the lip of this plastic stuff here. So take your time. If this doesn't just go on, soap and water is not a bad idea to try to help slide it and convince it. I've also seen people that have taken this apart, put on the rubber first, and then clipped on the aluminum, but that seems to be even more problematic. So, of course, you probably want to pull the old cover off first because that will make it a lot easier. So, start there. And then, yeah, I think I am probably going to resort to the soap and water method because it is still really tough. I pulled the rubber off and did it with just the rubber just to make sure that it was seating properly. But I remember having to do this with my R32. The factory pedal covers like to pop off randomly, and it's not fun to have to stick them back in place, but so what I'm doing is working around from the back, just sort of rolling the lip. Trying to roll the lip underneath the pedal. Let me see if I can get this to stay here. So this little plastic rubber lip, I want it to be around the bottom of the pedal itself all the way around. And it is not easy to do it from the back side there, not seeing what you're doing. But spend enough time, you'll get it. Okay, we're gonna try the soap and water trick. Just dish soap and warm water, letting them warm up in here a little bit. Get the dish soap and water, and hopefully that'll let it lubricate just enough to slide on there. In the meantime, I gotta pull off these old pedal covers, and we should be off to the races here pretty shortly. Okay, that was much better. Yay, hooray for soap and water. Okay, try this one. Get the old pedals out of the way. A little bit more lube. This one's got a big old gnarly thing in the middle that has to seat down in there. So it's, I think it's up from the bottom and onto that stud. This one, the plastic pedal doesn't actually come off, so this is just a slip over thing, but it's fighting me. so essentially a crap ton of soapy water, and they're on. This one is really hard because you have to angle it from this side and then kind of wedge it over onto this side while you're pushing really hard. Lots of soapy water. Start from the bottom, pushing up, and then work your way up the side, and eventually it snaps in place. So pain in the butt meter, I'm gonna give that a 7 on the Volkswagen scale for being something as stupid as putting pedal covers on. It really shouldn't be that hard, but I guess you don't want them coming off, so there you go. Anyway, that mischief is managed.